Welcome to episode 74 of the Relationship Marketing Podcast with Cody B. Today's guest is Jana Short. Jana is an influencer in the health and wellness industry and serves as a neuro-linguistic programming and rapid transformational therapy practitioner, motivational speaker, and best-selling author. She is a podcast host of Oh My Health, There Is Hope, and an editor of Best Holistic Life magazine. On her podcast, Oh My Health, There Is Hope, health influencers around the world share inspirational stories and tips on healing naturally. She is the founder of both Health Influencers Mastermind and Best Holistic Life. Both of these platforms were created to educate on holistic lifestyles and to shine light on real experts with a passion and desire to serve, educate, and be seen as major influencers. As a seasoned coach and public speaker, her ability to effectively communicate and process information is crucial in giving her clients an opportunity to communicate, evaluate their lives, and understand the importance of healthy living. More importantly, her vast expertise in mindset coaching allows her to help open doors that may seem locked, but have always been available. And now, Cody B.
Hello, everybody. This is Cody Bateman. Welcome to a brand new episode of our Relationship Marketing Podcast. My goodness, we've got some incredible stuff going on this show. I can't, it's such a blessing to have amazing guests come on and share their expertises with us. And boy, we have a special one today. And I can't wait to jump into this interview. But before I do, I just want to shout out to everybody, appreciation to all of you for striving to become better at who you are as a human being and find out the best version of you and give that away to other people. And that's what you're all doing out there, and appreciate it. This world needs it. This world needs it. We need lots of kindness. We need lots of generosity, some genuineness from people, and you as listeners. I know a lot of you and I know what you're doing out there, and I just want you to know I really appreciate your example to me and my family. And that's what we talk about on this show. This is relationship marketing at its very best. And we like to bring people on and talk about their own expertises. They come from a lot of different professions. We've got a special one today. So without further ado, we're going to bring on Jana Short. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me today.
Oh, we're so excited to have you. Can't hardly stand it. This is going to be fun. We just super excited about what you're doing out there in the world. And again, our listeners have already heard a little recording about your bio and a little bit about you. The first thing I want, well, first of all, just tell us a little bit about you. You've become quite the influencer out there, and you're doing some great things with holistic health and different things. And I really do want to get into that with you. You have a podcast titled "Oh My Health, There Is Hope," which, by the way, and a book, right?
Yep.
Oh My Health, There Is Hope. I'm assuming you came up with that title.
I did.
So highly creative. That's very, very, very creative. So we love talking to creative people. That is super cool, very catchy, and really cool. So tell us a little bit about you and how you got into this space.
So I'm an interior designer, so not in this space at all, except for when I turned 50, I got very ill, and I had to have my stomach removed to live. But unfortunately, when I had my stomach removed, what you eat is called TPN. It's liquid nutrition. It's all synthetic, and my organs did not like it. Everything started shutting down, and there was no way to feed me. So I became malnourished. My hair fell out, my nails fell out. And after 2 months in the hospital, they sent me home, and I had no hope. Like, there was nothing. If you can't get nutrients in, your body will eventually waste away. My organs were shutting down. But when I came home, I had a brand new grandbaby. He was 8 weeks old, and they put him in my arms, and I was there when he was born. So I was there when he was born, went in the hospital. When I came home, I held him, and I remembered looking at him thinking, he will not have one memory of me. He will not know how I smelled, how I laughed, how much I loved him. He was our 5th grandbaby at the time. And right at that moment, I had a mind shift, and it wasn't even to survive. I didn't think I would because I was told I wouldn't. But I got on the computer and started typing in desperate for health answers. My husband's a veterinarian, and I was married before. My ex is an internist, and all I knew was pharmaceuticals. And I went on looking for holistic health answers. and literally survived. It's been 11 years now, and we now have 7 grandbabies, but I survived trying to create a memory. And now my life literally is strung together one incredible memory at a time. But on that journey, I started finding more about holistic medicine and how to support the body. Like, God has really given us everything we need to survive. And I'm so grateful for penicillins and other drugs to help us when we need them. But if we are using holistic medicine to support our bodies, we will need them less and less, or at least put a bigger distance from when we do start needing to use them. So that is how I created Oh My Health, There Is Hope, is looking out there knowing there is hope. And for me, it was all about mindset change, because if I'm here one more day or another 70 years, I know that it'll be creating tons of great memories.
Wow, what a great story. And I can really relate with that. As we get older, we all have health challenges and we have to look into ways that we could manage our own bodies, manage our own health. I've certainly been going through that myself. I have a book titled Promptings, and I think you have a copy of it, and just starting to go through it. Promptings, and promptings are that's the foundation of all the companies that I've built. Send Out Cards is built on the foundation of acting on your promptings. Reach out in kindness. You have a prompting to reach out to others, act. And we've taught over the years that there's 2 kinds of promptings. There's what we call the inner prompting, which is your inner voice, tells you who you are as a person. And then there's the outer prompting, which tells you what to do with who you are by reaching out to other human beings, making human connection, those kinds of things. I want to talk a little bit about the inner prompting as it pertains to your health right now. So I happen to believe that part of this whole inner prompting thing does involve your health. That if you, the best way to act, the best way to get results from promptings is to act on them. So if you have a prompting to reach out and say thank you to somebody, act on it. Because the more you act on it, the more it ignites the inner prompting, which is that inner voice that just kind of tells you who you are. We all know the genius that's in us before anybody else does. The problem is that we live in a world where that's kind of squashed down by other people's opinions. And so we have to bring that back to life again. But that inner prompting not only tells you who you are, it also tells you, I believe, it tells you a lot about your body, and so I'm kind of on this kick right now that act on your inner promptings, because you're going to know if you're in tune with your body, you're going to know how to handle and manage your body along with its ailments, its sicknesses, its diseases. You're going to know what to do better than anybody. Is there truth in that?
There absolutely is truth in that, Cody. One of the things I tell people all the time is our body gives us several different signals in advance. They give us intuitive signals where you just know something isn't in the norm. And then when we ignore those, it starts giving us physical symptoms, right? Physical things that we should be paying attention to. And if we're still ignoring them, it moves into an even scarier zone where we're getting physical symptoms that are not going to go backwards, that we're not going to be able to reverse. So I absolutely 100% agree with you that we do have these intuitive feelings. There's so many clients that come to me for health reasons. And one of the things they say is, for months, this has been going on. Well, why weren't you listening? Your body's asking for something. When you're hungry, you feed it. If you're thirsty, you give it fluids, right? But when it's asking you intuitively, something's not right, why are you not paying attention to that?
Yeah, interesting. So I happen to, you mentioned some of the challenges that you had, which, wow, what a story, and what you've been able to come back from is amazing. I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis about 4 or 5 years ago, and it was kind of mild at that point, but is kind of advanced a little bit through the last several years. And quite honestly, it's it's kicked the tar out of me. I mean, I've had some real issues with it, and and you go to a rheumatologist and they put you on they trial and error and they do different things, and you get exposed to this whole world of pharmaceuticals that I'm not real fond of. And so I really started listening to my body a little bit more, and they wanted to keep putting me on different medications. And we finally decided that, you know what, I'm gonna wean completely off of any medications. Now, there's a twist to this story. There's a twist. I'm gonna warn you right now, because it's not gonna end the way you think it is. So I'm listening to my body, and I'm saying, okay, well, let's just get off this medicine, and let's go to, you know, we got several ebooks and kind of learned a bunch of different things, my wife and I, and we changed my diet, went to strict paleo diet, vitamin regime that's really, really powerful and good, and started doing this for a couple of 2-3 weeks and was feeling pretty good. You know, I was feeling pretty good. I was feeling like, you know, this is cool. This is going to be a great story. This could be a great story because I'm going to be able to talk about how I listened to my body and I defeated it, you know, and it's a whole holistic approach or whatever, or natural approach instead of the pharmaceuticals. About 3.5-4 weeks in, man, I took a turn for the worse. Like it just knocked me right out. Like I was and it kind of blindsided me. And I just couldn't get it back. So I ended up going back to the doctor, and they put me on a different type of medicine, and I'm back on that again. But I have this diet. I'm very habitual now about this new diet, very habitual about my vitamin routine, along with this medicine. So tell me, what am I supposed to learn in that experience?
That medicines definitely have a place in our bodies. And I'm so grateful that we have them. Like right now, everybody's looking for the cure to this pandemic, right? And holistic stuff's only going to help support our bodies and our immune systems to hopefully push it away. But once we contract it, we're going to definitely need those medications. So for instance, the only drug I take is something called Lovenox. I have a blood clotting disorder that causes me to get pulmonary embolisms, which are fatal. And so I hear all the time, I have something holistic that will help your blood from clotting. But the only way to find out that it works is to not get a blood clot and not die. So I take it. I'm grateful to have that drug available to me so I don't get a blood clot. So there is definitely a place for pharmaceuticals. Holistic medicine has nothing to do about taking penicillin if you have an infection or taking chemo if you have cancer. Holistic medicine is to support the body, to help keep it whole, to help give it what it needs to fight off things on its own. Your body was telling you needed that medication. 100%, but staying on your diet, which I'm assuming is an anti-inflammatory diet, taking your supplements to help give your body the support it needs to keep, dealing with the rheumatoid arthritis. Those are all things that work really well together. And so Western medicine and holistic medicine, they work really beautifully together. One of the best things that happened to me with this whole journey is my oldest daughter and my youngest daughter were in med school. And when I was searching desperately to stay alive, they started looking at more holistic options while in school. And they found that they only teach you 1 semester of nutrition. That's it. Something that our whole bodies are based on everyday living. They teach them 1 semester. Well, they are now, I'm very proud of them. They are now both doctors of natural medicine, and they understand the importance of pharmaceuticals, but the importance of supporting your body in a really holistic, natural way, long-term, right? Hopefully medications are short-term and you get them through sometimes my Lovenox is long-term. I'm sure your medication is going to be long-term, and that's fine. But if we can support our bodies from needing more and more and more of that medication for longer periods of time, that's so much better for us.
So kind of a hybrid approach.
Yeah, absolutely. A hybrid approach.
So it's interesting, and it's because it's kind of like when you get out there and you study this stuff, it's either all or nothing. Like it's either you're all on the pharmacy side, and if you don't do exactly what your doctor says, get on the exact prescription, you're going to die. There's that side, and then there's the whole other side where it's all holistic and it's all natural, and go in your closet and sing Kumbaya and take this little supplement, and you're going to be better for the rest of your life. And you'll never have to rely on anything. It's almost like you hear both extremes. Very rarely do you hear what you just said. In my experience, very rarely do you hear, there's a place for both. But isn't that what life's like? Isn't life itself about balance?
It's totally about balance. And I'll tell you, the scariest thing is I have people come to me wanting validation. So I have a friend that is going through cancer right now, and she refused any treatment. And she wanted me to validate that was okay. Holistic was the way to go. And I couldn't do that for her because, first of all, I'm not a doctor. Second of all, I believe they work beautifully together. And unfortunately, with cancer, you don't have a lot of time to experiment. And anything holistic takes a very long time to work. So if I were to use a holistic option for an infection, it takes such a long time to work and to go through the body when you can take a round of antibiotics that might take 7 to 14 days.
Right.
So I think that so many doctors are open to holistic approaches now that if you tell your doctor, I'm willing to do whatever you tell me to do, but I'd like to look also at a holistic side, they'll send you to a nutritionist. They'll get the right things to you. And I think the best way to do it is work together with them. You know, this is what I like. When I went off all my medications, I didn't just stop taking them. I told my doctor, this is my goal. I would like to be medication free. And can you help me do that? So we did blood work. Every month I have to do blood work, and we do blood work. And as he saw my blood was sustaining, I removed more and more drugs until the only thing I have to take now is Lovenox.
Wow. Wow. So listen, right before, I'm going to see if I can find my phone, right before this show, I got on Siri here and I said, define holistic. I wanted to see what it said. So I got the Siri definition, or the Wikipedia definition of holistic. I want to hear your definition of holistic. What does that even mean?
Probably not going to be that, because I think for everyone, holistic is different, right? But holistic to me means natural support for the body. Things that are non-toxic, things that are growing on the earth. And that's what holistic means to me. And more holistic breathing techniques, mind techniques, herbal supplements. To me, that's all holistic approach, more than just medicating for pain, right? If I have pain, first of all, I'm allergic to narcotics. I had to find a way to deal with pain. And so I found a holistic approach. I use breathing techniques, I use meditation, and I use essential oils to deal with pain. So those are what I use to deal with pain, but that may not work for everybody, but it absolutely works for me. After my surgeries, that's what they let me use in post-op, as essential oils, breathing techniques, and meditation, and it works.
Wow. And that's something. And you have a podcast titled Oh My Health, There Is Hope. And obviously you talk about a lot of these issues. How did you get started with your podcast? What kind of guests do you have on, that kind of thing?
So I got started with my podcast because I wanted people to know there's hope. I was sent home with no hope. And if it wasn't for that mindset shift for me, wanting to create a memory with my grandson, I would not be here today. I know that. I would have just laid down and died. But I want people to know that as long as there's breath in you, there's hope. And even if that means an extra week, an extra month, it's your quality of life while you're here that's so important. And I really understood that, like making that memory with my grandson was the most important thing. And I got to tell you, I was pretty vain. I was a high-end interior designer. I had to have the Hermes bag that was, for those of you who have an Hermes bag, you know how expensive those are, right? It's a couple of houses. But I had to have these things. They were important to me. And when I was going to die, I realized I'm not taking any of that with me. None of that is important. What's really important are those memories that I'm leaving behind with the people I love and connect with, and the ones that I'm going to be taking with me. And so that is what became important. And so when I was getting ready to do Oh My Health, There Is Hope, somebody asked me to write a book. I'm like, oh, I'd love to write a book. I started writing a book, and first of all, kudos to you for writing the books, because I literally spent weeks and weeks and pouring my heart out, and I'm laughing, I'm crying, and it's like everything's in there. And I had like 2 chapters. I could not get a whole book out of me. But every time I meet someone now, I ask them, what's your story? Tell me, why are you here? What are you doing? And their stories they moved me. They were powerful. And I wanted to share those stories with people, especially when I saw those stories leading them into that hope. So the first thing I did when I did this book, Oh My Health, There Is Hope, is I started combining other stories. I didn't have enough in me for a book, but boy, I sure knew a lot of incredible people with powerful stories. So it's a book full of stories of hope that from all different areas of life. And I wanted to have more of those, because if I could put that ripple effect of hope out into the world and share it with more people, then somebody in, I don't know, India, or somebody in Africa, or somebody in London is going to hear that story and not give up. and know, like, look, they made a change. Cody, when you're on stage talking, I know, like, I always talk to my avatar. I talk to that one person. I don't care how many people are in the audience, because I know that when they walk away, a third of them are going to be like, oh, what a bore. A third's going to be like, yeah, it was okay. But the people that I was talking to are going to walk away on cloud 9 thinking, wow, that was amazing. She was here to speak to me. So I only focus on my avatar when I'm talking to people. And it's always about sharing your message of hope, letting them know there's hope, and not to give up if that's what you're thinking. Like someone told you it's hopeless. It doesn't matter. You're here, you're breathing, there's still hope. And so that's how the podcast came out, sharing that story, putting a ripple effect out into the world, and hopefully creating hope.
Wow, that's really, really good stuff. So I like what you said about, you know, speaking to your avatar and finding that group. I think as speakers and presenters, a lot of times it's a hard lesson to learn what you just said. You know, the reality is if you got an audience of 500 people in a room or virtual, you know, there's just some people that are just not going to resonate with you on that day, no matter how good you are. And it's just not, you know, and it's not really about you at all. It's about them and where they're at in their life. And it's an important lesson to learn. But I think it's also an important lesson to learn in life. Like, isn't that how life is? I mean, there are certain people that you just naturally resonate with. Like there's millions of people right now, Jana, millions of people right now that will naturally resonate to your message. And you're doing things to find those people and target them and get them into your show and to read your book and whatnot. But there's literally millions of people out there that you don't have to sell them. You don't have to, I mean, they'll just naturally resonate to your message. And part of what I say to people in general is that's how it is for everybody. Mm-hmm. That's not just for the influencers. That's for everybody in life. There's millions of people in this world that will naturally resonate with who you are as a person. Guess what? There's millions of people that won't. There's just millions of people that just don't resonate with you. And how much time do we spend trying to get people to resonate with us? Like we get our feelings hurt and we feel bad because, you know, we can't please that person, or and I know that in your experience, you work with a lot of people that deal with those stresses. So what do you say to that? How do you get people to realize, you know, what to deal with and what not to worry about?
I just tell my people, my tribe, I just tell them that you're not in their moment, right? They're in a different season than you. So if you're talking winter and they're in summer, they're just not going to connect, right? You're saying, oh, you got to bundle, you got to do this, but they're like, oh, I'm hot, I can't, it's too. So they're just not in my season right now. That doesn't mean that they're not going to come to my season. That doesn't mean that they're not going to have a moment where they become desperate and wondering, what can I do? And so I never take anything personally. Like, I'm so excited about COVID. I can't even tell you. I can't wait till the next speaking when they start opening up and I start doing speaking again, because I am now showing up in my pajama bottoms and slippers because that's we're only dressed from the waist up. So all glam from the waist up and pajama bottoms and slippers. And I'm going on stage saying, hey, Koba opened the doors for all of us to just be authentically us, no matter where we're at. So I'm excited about like sharing that message of hope to people out in the world. And if you speak to your avatar directly, you're being authentic. And if you're trying to change that to make someone else happy, you're no longer in your authentic zone and speaking your genius. You're just lip servicing them. And so it's really never going to make that connection anyways. And when you're doing a large event, that's why there's so many different speakers. They know they need the scientific speakers to come out and talk to you, the science people, and they need the emotional people to come out and touch those who get really emotional, or the funny ones to come lighten up the mood. They invite all those speakers because they know everybody isn't going to resonate with one.
Right. Yeah, that's really good stuff. And well, I tell you, there's some really neat things that you're sharing with the world. By the way, everybody, if you're just tuning in, we are listening to Jana Short. She's from Studio City, California. She's a mindset coach and a practitioner. She has a podcast titled Oh My Health, There Is Hope. Also a book titled the same. Editor of Best Holistic Life magazine. She is the founder of both Health Influencers Mastermind and Best Holistic Life. I want to talk to you about this mastermind, the health influencers mastermind. Anytime I see the word mastermind, I want to know what you're doing with that. So just share a little bit of that with us.
So each quarter, I grab 20 experts to work with. And if they're selling a product, I don't let them talk about product at all. The products are amazing, and I love MLMs and I love products. I think it's the only business on the entire planet that people can show up from all different age groups, different religious backgrounds, different educational backgrounds, and they all have the same opportunity to create the same kind of growth. And so I love MLMs because of that. But I also want you to understand that MLM companies have done an amazing job branding themselves. You need to brand yourself. You need to bring your secret sauce into the game, and you need to stand in front of that, because the people you draw into your business are because of you. And yes, you have a great product to share with them. So when I first got healthy, I got healthy because of essential oils, and I spewed it all over because I was alive, and I just was so grateful to essential oils. And then I realized that company did a really great job already. And I was just like the millions of other people out there. And so I really focused in on what my story was, who was I helping, and what that message was. And once I got that really clear, the doors blew off, and I was like, they just came flooding in because they recognized me. They recognized my story. They recognized the pain points that I was talking about, and they came. But when I was just out there throwing it out there like everybody else, I got lost in that saturation online of tons of people out there doing it. And we call it commission breath or sales breath, that when you're so excited about a product and that's all you talk about, people just start backing away from you because they hear it so many times. But if you really engage with them in thought, need, and connection, they start getting drawn into you. It's like putting those little strings between you until you get so close. They're like, what is it you're doing? I want to know. So when I pull those people into Mastermind, I only do 20. They can be from different companies, but they cannot talk about their company. We talk to them about creating that feel around them, learning to reconnect with your clients online, because it's a completely different platform than when you're in a store and people walk in, you can shake their hand and greet with them. So we talk to them about how to connect with them correctly on there. And it's really, I've created some amazing, amazing influencers because they were already amazing. And now people saw that. So that's what we do with Health Influencers Mastermind.
Wow, really good stuff. I'd love to be able to tap into that at some point and just kind of learn from that. It's really good. So, you know, what I like to do on this show is a lot of times, you know, I don't like my guests to feel like they're in this box where they have to just answer all my questions and, you know, whatever. So we usually like the end of the show by just giving you the floor. And I just feel prompted today to give you plenty of time to do that. So there's no more questions. There's no more questions now. We're going freestyle now. So now it's freestyle. And I want you to listen to your inner voice and share from your heart what you feel my audience needs to hear from you right now. So
I have one question for you first.
Okay.
You never told me what Siri said.
Oh, you know what? It wasn't very impressive because I don't even remember. It did say something about it's holistic is about bringing lots of things together. It's not just about physicality. It's about mental and emotional and physical and the combination of things that you bring together. It was a pretty good definition, I think. Yeah, it was pretty good, but and I think I think that's an important part of the message is that, again, it goes back to that balance. You know, if you want a healthy lifestyle, you obviously need to look at all different realms of your life. It's not just physicality. That's only part of it. You know, mental, physical, emotional, relationship. It's funny how people always say mental, physical, emotional, but very rarely do you hear them put relational in there with that group. They'll talk about relationships being important in other conversations. But when it talks about having balance of all the elements of life, you don't really hear relationship getting put into the factor with mental, emotional, whatnot. And I just think that's a big missed mark. I think we all need to realize that relationship is just as important as the mental capacity that we have and the emotional capacity that we have is our ability to create connection with other human beings. We're finding that in this quarantine world of ours, how much we're craving connection with other human beings right now. And that's why you say you're excited to get back out there to speak again. We crave that human interaction, and it's such an important part of the element. But anyways, here I go off on my tangents again. I want to come back to you. And with all of that in mind, just speak from your heart. And what's the message we need from you right now?
So I feel like the message that the whole world right now is one of hope and forgiveness. There's a lot of craziness going on in the world. This is the first time that I ever remember this happening, but we have a very large animal hospital it's like right around all the movie studios on a really busy intersection, but we had to board up our building because of all the craziness going on. And I just did a huge podcast on this because I was so inspired to talk about what forgiveness really is and who it's really for. So for all of you holding on to giving forgiveness, I just want you to understand that forgiveness isn't for the other person that you're offering it to. Forgiveness is for you. When you're extending forgiveness and hope to someone, that's really for you. That is for you to move on. That doesn't mean we're accepting what's going on. That doesn't mean that we're in agreement with anything going on. It just means that we're extending that forgiveness out into the world. And right now, hope and forgiveness, I just feel like we really need that message out in the world. There is always hope. This definitely is a growing pain. You don't get anywhere in life without going through that struggle and that pain that you have to go to when you grow, and we're definitely growing. And I want you to understand that forgiveness, when you're putting it out into the world, it isn't for others, it's for yourself. When you extend that, you release yourself, you allow yourself to move forward. And I'm telling you, it feels like someone removes a ton of bricks around you. It doesn't mean you're agreeing, doesn't mean that you're accepting of what's going on, but it means that you're giving them that forgiveness so you can move on. But that would probably be the message I would want to share with people.
Well, it's so well said, and such a needed message for our whole world right now. Love, acceptance, forgiveness, those are all very, very important things. We say the word kindness around here a lot, and it's like, I don't know how to fix the world's problems. I don't know how to fix racial injustice. I don't think any one person knows how to fix that. I don't think any one race knows how to fix racial injustice. It takes all races to do that. But one thing I do know, I do know that kindness helps. I know that. I know that acting on promptings and reaching out in kindness to other human beings is what the world needs. And we can all do that. And it has no barriers. It knows no race. It knows no color. It doesn't know anything. It just wants to be kind. And to me, that's kind of what it's all about. And it kind of ties into what you just said is, hope, forgiveness, kindness, just really important things, right? Well, those are important things all the time, and if we just maintain that all the time, maybe our world wouldn't be hurting as much as it is right now. I don't know. But Jana Short, everybody, just incredible. Make sure that you get a chance to get a copy of her book, Oh My Health, There Is Hope. I'm assuming that's available on Amazon.
It is.
And any other place that you also go to Jana Short, is it janashort.com? janashort.com, and look at her website and view some of her things. And again, Jana, our hats off to you. We just appreciate all the incredible things you're doing out there to make the world a better place. And just appreciate you so much.
Thank you. What a pleasure.
Well, great. Yeah. And I'll look forward to being on your show one of these days, and we'll just keep on spreading kindness and doing whatever it is that we can do. So there you have it, everybody. That's Janice Short, our guest today. Please make sure you tune in next week for another episode. We're super excited to keep bringing these amazing people to the plate and learning from them. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Enjoyed this episode of the Relationship Marketing Podcast with Cody B, be sure to subscribe to the show and leave a review so that together we can get this message, The Power of Human Connection, out to the world. You can find Cody's new book, The Power of Human Connection, on Amazon or the Send Out Cards gift store.